a couple of things we want to have a look at. I think we'll start by me reading part of a story by Tova O'Brien of Stuff. I won't read all of it because I know there's other things we're going to talk about within that, but this might set the scene a little bit for us when it comes to this story. The Prime Minister is planning to avoid any mention of cancelling the $500 million ferry contract with a South Korean company while he visits South Korea. Despite lawyers from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs earlier warning the government of a risk to New Zealand's relationship with South Korea, so remember, that's not just to a company in South Korea, but to South Korea, and the need for, quote, careful and deliberate communications, end quote, with the country's government, if it broke the contract, Christopher Luxon will not be raising the issue when he meets with the South Korean president, nor does he plan to raise it with anybody else he meets with during his 2-day visit to South Korea. The Prime Minister also sees no need for any damage control with the shipbuilder itself. The Prime Minister has no meeting plans with Hyundai or the dockyard as well. He does not expect to raise IREX in any scheduled meetings. This is what Luxon's spokesperson told Stuff. It does feel like the modern version of I can't hear you, I can't hear you, I can't hear you, a little bit. What are your thoughts, sir?
Yeah, well, I should start by mentioning I do some work with MUNS, the Maritime Union. So just to get that disclosure out there, I'm not representing them, but I do some work with them. And when they heard that Luxon was off to South Korea, they said, "Oh, this must be it. He must be going to sort this mess out, because why else would he go to South Korea if not to talk about this huge issue in the relationship? This, $500 million break fee that's currently being negotiated, but between Hyundai and Kiwi as a result of the government's decisions." And just flabbergasted to learn that he's not intending to talk at all about it. It's don't mention the elephant, don't mention the war. It's crazy. What else can he talk about there? Like I can't imagine a situation of a New Zealand leader going to a country and not talking about the biggest live issue in the relationship between those two countries. And yeah, it's just chaotic.
Is there precedence for this? I mean, can you think of a time where a prime minister or at least a senior delegate has gone to another country and gone, oops, sorry about that one, guys?
You do have to acknowledge these things and talk them through. I think, whenever there's a complication in a relationship, that's part of being prime minister. You're the country's most senior diplomat, alongside the Minister of Foreign Affairs. And this does matter a lot to the South Koreans. This was a good-sized contract for one of their major conglomerates, and they're now saying, can we deal with New Zealand? In fact, everyone around the world is going to be saying, can we deal with the New Zealand government, because they might back out on you. And, we're going to end up paying this enormous break fee, but that won't make up for the fact that work has been lost. Those workers who were going to be building these ferries have been sitting idle while that slot in the system has been sitting empty. Yeah, it's just standard diplomatic practice. You have to deal with these things. It's awkward, but then probably you shouldn't make these messes in the first place if you don't want to have to deal with them.
Yeah, and as you were saying as well, this is a diplomatic issue to the highest level. It's not just about, New Zealand company, Kiwi Rail, South Korean company, Hyundai. And one of the ways we can highlight that is to say the cancellation of the IREX project. If you listen to the audio podcast, we're back on stuff.co.nz now. The cancellation of the IREX project was so significant for Hyundai that the company reported it to the Korean Stock Exchange, reportedly filing a notice that the contract was cancelled at Kiwi Rail's request and that the shipbuilder will claim for design costs as a part of its negotiation and termination. The Prime Minister doesn't believe cancelling the deal poses any risk to our trading relationship with South Korea. Now, I want to go, he's either naive or he does know. I'm not even going to go, he's naive. He knows. I mean, this is Mr. I'm the businessman and I'll run everything like a business, thinking that shitting on a company is not going to cause issues next time it comes around to do business. I'm also interested to hear from you, seeing you're not speaking on behalf of the Maritime Union, but also you're working with them, what you're hearing from them with their people who are on the boats about what's happening with the ferries at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of uncertainty for the guys, that they were meant to be going to these new boats starting next year. Now they're going to be trying to nurse the existing ferries through to 2029. But the longer the government mucks around at this stage, the harder it is to see how they're going to have replacement ferries in time. That they're going to have to design some procurement process, whether that's Q-Rail, whether it's some other organisation they haven't settled on. They're going to have to decide what kind of ferries they want. They've already been through that process and decided that large rail-enabled ferries was the most cost-efficient and beneficial way to go. Then they're going to have to find someone who will take the contract, given that last time New Zealand backed out, and then get them built. And it'll take years and years. They'll be lucky to get it done. They'll be lucky to get new ferries by 2030. At this rate, the process for IREX would have taken 7 years if they'd seen it through to completion. So it's a lot of uncertainty for the guys. There's a lot of uncertainty for the system and for Q-Rail, because that connection of getting the rail units across the strait is huge. A lot of stuff moves across there. It makes the Christchurch to Auckland route viable, which is the backbone of the whole freight network, and they're worried about the ramifications if that's disrupted. So it's a huge worry for the guys.